just to continue with our revision stuff. Okay, here's our bit of planning, our example of our deconstruction of our question with our keywords, purpose, mood, language features. We've got to be able to do that, and we'll have all sorts of different keywords, so you just got to be a bit flexible with it. Now, the way I've got it laid out here, we've got 4 different little sections, so we've got possibly 4 paragraphs that we can have a crack at in the exam. And the emphasis is on look, you've got a plan, and the evidence from our end of year exams is that our high performing students plan well, spend 10, 15, 20 minutes if you have to, doing a decent plan, and your essay will be structured much better, and it'll come together a bit easier. A few things to avoid: going off track. Okay, easy to do, and the solution for that is to, at the end of each paragraph, check the question again, check those keywords. What we would have previously told you is to jot those keywords at the top of every page, but you're doing a digital exam, or most of you will be doing a digital, doing it digitally. So you're just going to have to keep referring to those keywords at the end of each paragraph to ensure that you are answering the question. And you can be assured that the marker will be doing the same thing when they read through. They'll be looking to see whether you're on track and you are answering the question. Pretty important. Pretty important to do that. Okay. Now, here's a few tips for our higher end grades, the E's and the M's. And our advice is you write a lot about a little. Okay, that's it's a fairly simplistic way of putting it, but to break it down, the first thing I've got here is quoting from beyond the text, especially literary critics, but I would suggest in this case quotes from interviews of O'Brien about his purpose and about the context, and we've looked at some of those in our research around the context. There's lots of really useful things that O'Brien says about his novel and the way he put it together and the purpose of it, that if you can use those, that would be excellent. Our second point here: evaluating and appreciating. Make it clear you understand it as well crafted and powerful. It is. It's a really well written novel, and I've got maybe 1 or 2 sentences we can use, especially in our conclusion, to show that stuff. Use the right Englishy jargon. Juxtaposition. In the case of the things they carried, verisimilitude is our fancy word that we used. The appearance of reality here. Include the points that O'Brien makes about society, about people, about the way people act, how they think, and in a lot of the cases, it's how people, how they cope with the trauma of war while they're in it or after it. And in the case of On the Rainy River, how they cope with the idea of going to war. Weave in your quotations. Don't just drop them in the paragraph. Explain, where did they come from? What's the context? Who says them? What's it about? And why have you used it? What's the effect of that quotation? Make every word count. Don't waffle. And I've got in our next slide that